Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Prevent-a-Thon 4. My name is Selkoothmind, and I am here bringing you the daily spotlight for the start of day 3. Yesterday was a fantastic day. We've raised $1,290 so far this event, and we are getting super close to that $6,000 raised total across all events for Little Warriors. Today's daily spotlight is a little bit different. We're actually going to have two different interviews, both with runners who have been with us since the very first event and have been returning. So I hope you enjoy getting to learn a little bit more about the folks who've been with us since day one. We're going to hear from Essamity and Joker, and in between those interviews, we'll have a brief video from Little Warriors about the Bridge Community Online programs. So I hope you enjoy all of that. These interviews are fantastic. You're not going to want to miss them. And then after that, we're going to go over to our host and the first run of the day. Enjoy. All right, and joining me for an interview, I have the wonderful Essamity. Why don't you like introduce yourself to folks?
Hi, I'm Midi or Drew. I speedrun a lot of games that are minigame based, mini games or sort of quests, anything that is kind of linear. It's some platformers as well, but also linear stuff. So 3D Mario's, any of the ones that are a bit more linear, so 3D World, 3D Land. But this marathon, I'm going to be running We Play Motion, which is another minigame based run. It's pretty interesting. It's never been in a speedrun marathon with a category this long. Last speedrun marathon appearance was 2021. So yeah, very excited to be able to show this game off for first run in over 3 years.
Yeah, we're super excited to have it. We'll talk a little bit more about We Play Motion and some of your other games in just a moment. But first, you are one of very few runners who've been with us since our very first event. I'm curious what first drew you to Prevent-a-Thon, and maybe what has kept you coming back every event?
Yeah, great question. So I had got into volunteering in events, started to get back into speedrunning events around 2023, early 2023, and I've sort of started from there, and then of course Prevent-a-Thon started in 2023 as well. So that's kind of where I picked up. I started to make to a lot of events, and then from there, Prevent-a-Thon was one of my favorite ones. It's such a great cause to raise awareness for, and that's why I've tried to get involved with every event so far. I've tried to keep up learning a few different games so I can kind of submit different stuff each time, and it's been a great experience so far, and I'm looking forward to more events in the future as well.
Awesome. I am super glad to hear it's been one of your favorites. But that being said, you run all sorts of different games. You mentioned obviously like 3D Mario, you're very well known for. A lot of like mini game based games as well. You do a little bit of the indie side as well. I know we both run Rack and Slay. But for this event, for folks who maybe don't know, you're running We Play Motion. What is that game about? Can you describe it for us?
I am, yes. So We Play Motion is it's one of the tech demos for the Wii series. So the Wii series of games kind of refers to Wii Sports, Wii Play, games like that. There are 13 in the series, including Nintendo Switch Sports, which is a story for maybe if I talk about it on the run. Yeah, so it's a really interesting series. Most of the time they're tech demos. We Play Motion kind of got a bit forgotten about. It's still a really good game, but because it came out so late in the Wii's life cycle. It came out in 2011, and it was preceded by Wii Sports Resort, which also showed off some of the same tech, which is one of the most sort of influential Wii games there is, or games in general. Like, it's one of the most fondly remembered, definitely, of that era. So it kind of got overshadowed. It's still a really fun game, and there's a lot of well thought medal thresholds in there as well. Platinum is the highest, which is the category we're going to be running. And there's a lot more to it than We Play. There's a lot more level select kind of stuff rather than just playing one game and then finishing it there and then there's your platinum and then moving on to the next one. So some of the games can be quite significant in there, quite long. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be a great showcase.
I think folks are going to be in for a real treat. This was a fantastic submission video to watch. I greatly enjoyed it. And, you know, if folks saw Prevent-a-Thon 2, where you ran We Play, get to see the sequel finally. Yeah, I guess some of those other games that you run, are there any sort of like highlights from that? Because I know you've run a few different games for us.
Yeah, so I've run, as you mentioned earlier, so sort of the 3D Mario games. So I've run 3D World, 3D Land. I've run Wii Play as well, but I do run other kinds of games, as you mentioned, Rack and Slay, which is a kind of billiards roguelike. There's a bit of a pattern there because Wii Play also features a lot of billiards, so it's kind of I'm still attracted to games like that. But yeah, recently I've been running a lot of Bejeweled as well, which is another one where it's a quest mode. So all sorts of games like that, lots of mini game based kind of games. Mario Party as well is a little bit of an odd one where everyone was always saying, you know, can you speedrun Mario Party? But yeah, you can kind of speedrun Mario Party. And currently at the moment, my goal with speedrunning is to get a top 20 in all Wii series categories that have 20 runners. So it's quite a long quest. It involves a lot more of the more popular games like Wii Sports, which I'm not as good at. So it'll be a little bit more out of my comfort zone, but hopefully I can get some more progress on that. And yeah, that's what I've been focusing on at the moment.
Yeah, it sounds like a fantastic challenge, and best of luck to you with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I guess, are there any other thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, so yeah, make sure to catch my run. It's going to be Wii Play Motion. It's the first run on Saturday, and it's going to be a really, really exciting showcase. I am also in other places, so on my Twitch, I do speedruns of these games regularly as well. We also do sort of community days and things like that, and we also have other events that I've been volunteering and hosting for lately, which are also raising money for fantastic charities as well, which I feel are close to me personally. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my prep before the run.
Yeah, thank you so much, Wendy, for joining us for this little interview. And folks, that run is coming up very shortly. You do not want to miss it, I promise you. Come watch Mitty play this incredible game called We Play Motion. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And joining with me, I have the wonderful Joker.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right, so Joker, you have been one of the few people who've been with Prevent-a-Thon since the very first event. What inspired you to get involved initially, and what has maybe kept you coming back every time?
Initially, I pretty sure I was invited by Osmorn. So you can blame him for everything. And I was looking for a place to showcase my first speed run, my favorite run at that time, which was Synesthete. And so that's what got me interested in doing Prevent-a-Thon, was knowing that there was extra showcases and extra speedrun events that I could look into and sharpen my skills. Hone my skills. That's what I was trying to say. And have a place to showcase a game that I love and just, hadn't been able to do so before. What kept me coming back was the staff being so very kind and helpful, and especially for somebody who at that time hadn't really done very many speedruns or hadn't really been a part of the speedrun scene. The fact that they were so open, communicative, and willing to work with me on things and willing to work with everybody was really a big thing for me. Plus, the charity is also fantastic. Little Warriors does some amazing things, and even though they don't help, here directly in the States, I do have a lot of Canadian friends, and I know that the cause is, still prevalent regardless of where you are. So the fact that we have something that can help out and try to help prevent that is, something that I really do enjoy, and I'm really glad that I'm able to, help out Little Warriors and and do these events to make sure that they can, continue to do the work that they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've got some online programs, but you are right. They are very based in Canada for the most part. That being said, obviously you started out as a runner, our first event, but you've also expanded into volunteering. You've done some hosting, and you've also been a producer both last event and this event. What would you tell folks about volunteering either for Prevent-a-Thon or just in general?
Volunteering for not only Prevent-a-Thon, but any kind of marathon event, whether it be, the big stage or the quote unquote smaller stages, it's valuable experience that you won't likely gain elsewhere. Being able to work with such a fantastic team, develop good friendships, and camaraderie and almost like familial type relationships by volunteering and working with uh, people over the course of years and various other events is always something that is fantastic to have. And just knowing that you've got a community and a crew working with you, behind you, helping you to succeed has always been fantastic. Especially for hosts, if you're wanting to get into, a large scale event or an in-person event, being able and willing to volunteer and host for the quote unquote smaller events like a Prevent-a-Thon or another one uh, is great experience, and it gives you a little bit of a different experience than you would get in the larger scale or the in-person events, because you have to be able to think on the fly. You really have to be able to work around the constraints that are provided to you by, one, being online, but two, because it may be, a quote unquote smaller event, you may not have the donations all the time or things like that to read. So you really have to be able to work on the fly and develop those kind of skills to continue to help drive the incentives forward and get the crowd invested, get the watchers wanting to involve themselves, wanting to donate, wanting to be a part of the event. So it's a great way to learn some different skills and to utilize a different set of resources than you would use otherwise, and take that and then use it for those large scale in-person events to make sure that you are carrying your best foot forward and knowing that you have the strength and the practice from the other events really is invaluable in getting to those larger events.
Absolutely. Completely agree with that. Now, you've done Cinesteet for us, which is obviously a rhythm game. That was the first event. Then you've done some Sonic runs for us. This event, you're running Nightmare Kart. What can people expect to see in that run?
Oh boy. So Nightmare Kart is unlike most other kart racers that you've seen. And I will explain a lot of it during the run. And there's also some incentives that you may, there's an incentive that you can donate towards. But for the most part, it is a kart-based storytelling version of Bloodborne. It was created off of as an April Fool's joke off of the Bloodborne PSX demake. So Lilith, the lead developer, she essentially solo developed Bloodborne as a PlayStation 1 era demake, and then as an April Fool's joke, started creating Bloodborne Kart. And over the next couple of months, and as development unfolded, it became Nightmare Kart, and it became what we know. There are not only are there races, but we do have battles. We have boss fights. The bonus incentive to upgrade the category to the refuse category involves a final boss fight that you would not normally see your first time through, because it does require grabbing 3 specific items that are hidden throughout some of the arenas. So if you don't know what you're looking for, you won't be able to find it. But then getting into that special final boss fight with a platforming section on a go-kart is something that needs to be seen to be believed. So it's just this, it's so wildly different from any other kind of kart racer, but at the same time, it still maintains that core mechanic of the racing, the drifting, very good track development and build, and great music. The soundtrack is fantastic. It's a lot of fun.
I am very excited to see it. If you have not seen this game before, you are in for a treat, and you are in for a special treat because Joker is so good at the game. Yeah. Any last words before we sign off?
Like I said, please donate towards that incentive. You definitely do not want to miss the final boss fight. We get more Prevent-a-Thon if you do it, and it just gives me another chance to showcase this fantastically built game, this boss fight. All of it, like I said, has mainly been done by a solo developer. She had a small team behind her for a few different things, but Lilith has done an amazing job with it. And the final boss fight is it's unlike anything you've ever seen in any kind of kart racing game, and it literally has to be seen to be believed that it can be done.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join me, Joker.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited for today, and the rest of the event has been fantastic. So I cannot wait for today and the rest of the event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello everybody and welcome to Prevent-a-Thon for Day 3. My name is Tornite. I am your host for this opening block of games that we got coming up. We got some great games and great speed runs coming up throughout the entire day, as well as Day 4 tomorrow. But first of all, give a shout out to all the runners and all the people working behind the scenes at Prevent-a-Thon. For without them, none of this would be possible. And another reminder as to why we are here, and that is Little Warriors. Little Warriors is a national charitable organization focused on the awareness, prevention, and treatment of child sexual abuse. They also advocate on behalf of and with child sexual abuse survivors. For more information, visit littlewarriors.ca or type !info in chat. So far, we have raised $1,290 all for Little Warriors, which means our total amount is $5,911 Canadian for these 4 events that Prevent-a-Thon has done, going all the way back to June of 2023. So we're less than $100 Canadian from reaching our next major milestone, which is $6,000. But we also have a great incentive active right now, which is the Jump Park Time Attack Bonus Run, for We Play Motion. All you got to do is donate $40 and we meet the incentive, but we don't have a lot of time. That incentive closes at the end of this first run that we got. So if whenever you get a chance to donate, type !donate in chat and it'll take you to the donation page. And remember to also put in the incentive. Just click the add incentive button towards the bottom of the page and it'll open up and will give you the opportunity to donate for that incentive. So we are so close, only $40 to reach that incentive. And we have a lot of great action going on today with the speed running that we have planned out for today. It's going to be a great day. It's been a wonderful marathon so far, and we are getting ready for our first run. So with that being said, we'll step aside really quickly and we will start off with the first run of the day, which is We Play Motion by SMM MIDI. And don't go anywhere because we have a lot of fun stuff planned for today, folks.